Hey, Ticat fans. Welcome to the Ticats audio network for the Task and Andy show. I'm Luke Tasker, former Ticats wide receiver, and I'm here with my friend, teammate, and CFL legend, Andy Fantuz. Andy, what's up, man?
I'm doing well. Looking forward to this bye week. How about yourself?
Man. Yeah, me too. It's time to sort of turn the page over. We'll touch on the game a little bit right off the bat here, and we can get into some happier football talk here. So, yeah, tough start for the season for us, man. There's no doubt about it. 0-2 is not the way you wrote it up. Not really what anyone probably would have predicted before the season. Ticat fans or other around the league, just not what everyone thought was going to be coming from the 2021 Ticats. That said, I mean, you and I had a lot of losing starts to our seasons, even some of our best seasons. We can get into that, but talk to me about the game. What's your immediate takes from the Sask game?
Well, I haven't seen a Ticat offense or a Tommy Condell offense sputter like this in many years. The team has to find a way to push the ball downfield and attack the middle of the field, and it's just not there for them right now. So it's I don't know if it's the receivers not getting open or the plays aren't working or the defensive game plan is smothering them. But it seems like quarterbacks sort of just focused on what's right in front of them instead of looking past that and downfield and anticipating those open throws.
Yeah.
What did you see?
Don't you remember like the games where it's just you're in a rut and it's so hard to start stringing first downs together? It's like every positive play feels like a touchdown. It's like, thank goodness we're not tackled for a loss here. And it had that feeling a little bit. You pointed out in the first episode, Task and Andy last week, one of the matchups we were interested in was the Hamilton offensive line and the Sask D line. That did not go well for Hamilton. I think we were sacked 6 times, I want to say. I think Mazzoli 5 times and Dane once. I might be one off there, but it was tough for Soli to have time and the sack fumble. When you watch that again, man, I don't know if there's a quarterback who could have made a completion on that play. That was very difficult, and it's just a talented defensive line. So I think there's going to be some shoring up there that has to happen as we progress through the weeks. But in week 1, yeah, Marcus throw downfield in Winnipeg that went through his hands, and I brought up the point that it's like you get as a wide receiver, you get into a game, and if you haven't been involved in the first half, it's like you can't, like, that moment to shine surprises you, and sometimes that's when you make the ugliest drop, or you do something silly, or you finally get a catch and you try to do too much and you fumble. I remember that in my own career, that moment where finally the ball's in your hand and it doesn't go the way you want it to because it just been an emotional sort of marathon trying to keep into the game. That throw, we've seen Speedy make catches like that, and that was tough, and Soli was really trying to put it in on the spot, but hard to pin the blame on that interception. It's 2 guys really trying to make a play, but when you're not rolling, sometimes those are the ones that slip through where it's a snowball effect. If Ticats have been driving down the field, I think Speedy makes that catch and the game progresses with another great play. When you're in a rut, you're in a rut. It's hard to make plays.
Yeah, so you like, it's funny how sometimes games, they come so easy. Your success comes, I wouldn't say easy, but it's just natural, and it's just spreading the ball around everywhere. You're scoring every which way. You're getting first downs by the run, by the pass, unconventional, conventional. You even get Tasker throwing the ball to 2 sometimes and getting the first down. So,
but the greatest play of my career, too. The greatest play of my career. I always say it, man. Eastern Final, 2015, I think. 2000 in Ottawa.
In Ottawa. 2015.
Because we lost, right? We lost that game because of Hank Burris on the last play that
he threw it downfield. Yeah.
So
But yeah, to go back to your points there, yeah, sometimes it feels so easy, and then the second one was the SASD line. Like Leonard and Woodard were just wreaking havoc. Those defensive ends.
5 sacks between them.
I thought we were able. Like I thought the Ticats when they started doing their freeze offense, which if you're not sure what that is, it means like when your receivers all attack the line of scrimmage and then stop and then back up. And Leonard jumped offside once, but before that, he was in the backfield before Mazzoli even had the ball. So he was just getting an incredible jump on the ball. And then as the game wore on, they just those defensive ends were just wreaking havoc all game. Like the offensive tackles couldn't block them, but that's also a product of the Ticats have to find a way to get the ball out of their hands and get some quick throws downfield and string together some success. You were talking about Marcus Tucker and then the speedy interception from the last game. It's like the famous words from our old coach there, Ken Austin, that we have to be able to make the play when the spotlight finds you. And the spotlight's always going to find you when you least expect it. And if you're not involved in the game throughout the first 3 quarters, or it's hard to make those plays when it really counts. So, that's why one of Andy's keys to victory in game 1 was just to spread the ball around and create some rhythm so that everybody gets involved right away. And then I just forgot to say that point of stay involved and keep spreading.
Yeah. The second half of that, really. Another thing, remember Ken Austin used to always say that the game oftentimes boils down to 5 plays. When you look back on it, it's just 5 things. And if you're not ready, if the football fate had it that you were going to be the guy to make one of those and you weren't ready for it, it really impacts the game really, really tremendously. And it's easy. A quarterback's always going to have to play a big role in those 5 plays, right? It's just hard to be ready for that all the time. And that is partly you got to be a professional and you got to be ready to go, even if you haven't touched the ball in 3 quarters. And then also I think play calling can help that, and you get guys involved. I remember Tommy used to, at times if you made a fumble, if you dropped a catch, he'd try to get right back to you. And that's great coaching because he knows that Tuz is going to have to be making plays in the 4th quarter. And if there was a mistake, and if I had just dropped a pass, I got one like the next drive, and he would just kind of keep that rolling. But it's hard when there are other issues going on as well, specifically the time that Sully has behind the line, and who knows what's going to be happening going forward if with Sully and Dane. It's going to be interesting to see what the coaches do over the bye week with that too.
Yeah, you're totally right. I remember at half times, we're saying like let's find a way to get a certain player involved. Like say it's Brandon Banks, when he was just that electric sort of player that we use just sparingly. We're saying like let's get the ball in his hands, and whether it could be just a sweep or wide receiver screen or something easy to get him involved, and that way it just that momentum grows and as we go through the game. So you're totally right.
What I always loved is I feel like we always had plays that would get our Z, the outside receiver, to the field, which happens too for some reason in CFL. Oftentimes that's a Canadian receiver out there. And I remember Matt Coates scoring a huge touchdown in Toronto in the Dome before TFC field, and just that little change of direction in the offense and that little surprise from the outside is just such a key part of a game, and the ability for an offense to do their regular things very well when they can change it up to the outside and when they can mix in the run differently and things like that. And I don't know, to change pace here and to get into the bye week and what this means and where the Ticats go from here. I think this is a very timely bye week in a beneficial way for the Ticats. I think it's time to sort of take a deep breath for a second. I always played well coming out of the bye weeks. It's a health thing, and it's also a mental thing too, and just the ability to sort of just relax for a number of days and sort of just reestablish what you're doing and why you're here and what you love about the game, and sort of get back to that just savvy love of the game playing on the field.
Yeah.
2017, that was the year that we went 0 and 8, I think. Yes, 0 and 8, and then went into a bye week and won our first game, which was the Labor Day Classic with June Jones in head coach. I mean, everything changed that week. Do you remember that?
Everything changed.
That was wild. I mean, we were literally on the field for 5 hours on day one of the week after bye week. I had been in Florida for 6 days. I was like coming out of this like a total vacation mode, and then June Jones came in, and we were literally on the field for 5 hours running his brand new, run and shoot pass concepts. But we did end up winning that game, and that bye week did change some things for us.
Yeah, I remember your face. I can remember your expression coming off the field, like just, like it was yesterday.
Oh man!
But yeah, and then we went on to like completely change like the way that the team, the cohesiveness in the team, and and I think that's important right now. You got to remember that these guys this year, they came in and they're not allowed to even see their families. They're not allowed to go out in the town. They're not doing anything social. So they've just been locked up. And I know it's not an excuse because every team's in the same boat, but I agree with you that it's a time to take a breather away. Like we talked to Simone after the game, and he's saying, "Oh, I'm going to get right back to work and stay in the gym." And I'm thinking, yeah, like maybe that's an emotional. You're pretty disappointed after a game, and you want to get back to work. And obviously, like taking care of your body and getting healthy is the number one priority on a bye week. But I agree with you. You want to step back and just smell the roses for a sec and sort of just sort of refocus. Sometimes it's like chess. Sometimes you got to retreat in order to continue to attack. You can't just keep going all season long.
I'll leave the high-level strategy thinking to Tuz with the chess moves, but I think if people overstate how much physically you need to do on the bye week. I was always in the thought process of you just went through training camp and now 2 in-season weeks. You're in tip-top shape. You really are. And you might already be having some things banged up from the season. I think 1 or 2 light workouts during the bye week is my strategy. I don't know what the strength coach Ike with the Ticats is telling these guys, and every to each their own. But I needed to relax on the bye week to refocus. It was as much emotional and mental as it was physical too. There is another season though. So 2017, that bye week changed everything for us. You remember 2014? The stadium wasn't even finished yet, or we had the World Games or not the World Cup. Pan American Games were using the stadium. Remember that? We couldn't even get in there after it had just been finished. It was crazy. And so we were still playing at McMaster.
Yeah. And the first game was also the Labor Day game at Tim Hortons Field.
That's right.
I remember Bakari scoring that touchdown with the big celebration, that first touchdown at Tim Hortons Field.
That was awesome. That was
awesome.
With the
black jerseys.
With the different jerseys.
The gray ones. Yeah.
Yeah. That year we did start 0-2, and we were out west for both of those games.
Yeah.
And then we had a bye week. And then I think, and hold on, I'm looking it up right now. I think we won when we came back. No, we lost again after the bye week, and then we won and lost 3 straight again. So we were 1-6 going into that Labor Day Classic, which was the first game, and that's when we turned the game. That's when we really turned over. That was monumental because that was one of those seasons where you got to week 10-ish and it felt like we were an entirely different team than when we had started. It was little things fell into place, and all of a sudden we were twice the football team that the season began, and the Grey Cup was very much so in our reach at that point.
Totally tale of two halves a season there. And another good example of that is before your time, but I remember when I was still a Rough Rider the BC Lions in 2011. They started 0-5 when they were playing at Empire Field when BC Place was under construction. And then they went on to rattle off a ton of wins in a row, I think 11 in a row, and they ended up getting first
Wow.
place and then winning the Grey Cup. So, yeah, I
It
guess
is.
what we're trying to say is long season, lots of time to make adjustments and refocus, and shake things up. But some shaking's definitely needed right now.
Yeah. And I think the worst thing that could happen is that we kind of, if the Ticats can't reestablish some positive energy after this bye week, I think when you focus on the negative for too long, I think things can get very, very ugly very quickly. I do think that the locker room suits itself. Simone Lawrence, I think, and I know he was emotional and upset after that game. In fact, his words were, they just kept beating themselves. Every phase, it was just their own mistakes, their own mistakes, their own mistakes. I think Simone's a great guy that can bring positivity into a locker room, and I expect to see that. Coach O is not one to dwell on the negative, but I think, Tuz, you were one of the best players I ever played with. That we addressed it. You addressed issues as a leader of the team when it came time to do that. If there was something wrong in the locker room, something wrong in our receiver group, you addressed that. But you were a positive guy, even at times, even in times where it was hard. It was always fun to play. And if when I mentor young athletes, I tell them I used to be a terrible football player if I wasn't having fun. I would just make mistakes. I would be negative down into this tiny little person. I wouldn't be able to make make it happen. And even in 2017, when we were 0-8, as that season turned around, I was still having fun. And we had 3 receivers that year break the 1,000-yard threshold. I mean, it was just like we were just having fun making plays, even when it wasn't. Even once playoffs had slipped out of our reach that year, we were positive. And I do think that is important to come back from this bye week and to not have this a negative sense of, oh my goodness, what if we lose one more game? In the past 10 years of Ticats football, there are multiple examples, as we've discussed, of starting off with 1-5, 1-6, 0-8, and still having a fighting chance. That said, there's only 14 games this year, so that is a little bit different, right?
It is, but you're right. You got to cherish this game. We're playing a game, like the players are playing a game to earn a living, and it's only going to last for so long. So no point to go through it in a negative sort of perspective or with your negative goggles on. Like you try to do that in life as well, but you have your ups and downs, of course, but isn't everything better when you just start off on the right foot or you enter a room with a positive outlook? If you already are thinking something negative, then you're going to find something further that's negative that probably isn't even there. You're just going to see it in a different light. So yeah, I'm a big believer in the mental aspect of just approaching the game, approaching life, and just how much that can actually affect things. So
I don't want to overstate a simple point here, but do you remember, and I don't know if I feel like this might have been 2014. Actually, no, because we were in the stadium the whole year, so it had to have been 2015. One of the best things that we did in those early years is that we had a ping pong table in the hallway. Do you remember that? We would leave practice and we'd play ping pong for an hour. Like an hour we were in there, and we had tournament brackets. You twos were the I guess the commissioner of the Ticats ping pong league. Like we had 30 some guys bracketed off to play for the finals, which by the way, you and I think played the finals that year. That was like the best. That's the best thing that you can do is that stuff. And if I were to look back in my career, I can see the moments where I was even the most negative. I was so injured in 2019, my last year, probably because my buddy too wasn't around to cheer me up. But those moments of negativity, you eliminate that stuff, man. Like there is so much football left to play this year, and so many ways to get better. Just pick one of them and start working on it. And if nothing else, the the last decade of Ticats football is a testament to you can turn things around even late in the year. So I don't know. It'll be exciting to see if we can if the Ticats can do that again in 2021, and we can sort of make a run after this early bye week.
Yeah, those times were great. You got 30 guys in the ping pong tournament. We did like a pool for say it was the World Cup or something, and
Yeah, right.
it's not like we'd have 15 people in the tournament in the organization. We'd have 90 people, 90, 100.
Oh yeah,
we
had staff too. You're right.
There's the staff are in it, the training staff, some of the cooks in the cafeteria in it.
That's right.
Like we got the GM in it. Like it was
That's great, man.
It just brings people together, right? It's not a big commitment or anything, but it's just a little something to stay together, and I'm a big believer in that kind of stuff. But
and positive, and it just stays positive and fun. We started off with the pool table in like the back storage hallway, but then the wind was it would affect the ball. So like we remember that we moved the table out to the what is now like the media room, which was the players lounge. Had it in there for a while, like trying to set it up just perfect. I remember other years we would be watching the practice film in special teams. Jeff Reinbold will probably hate this, but we're watching the special teams film of the day before practice, and on the bottom of the screen on the sidelines, you can just see Tuz, Tasker, probably Kerry Koch, and Matt Coates. We were over there juggling a soccer ball, like keeping it in the air, like just totally not tuned into practice, which is obviously probably not, whatever you could say textbook, you should probably tune into to practice, but that kind of stuff really was like kind of what made it all cohesive in our wide receiver room, what kind of made the season just enjoyable. And like I said, I always played well when we were having fun. So those little things, that was Andy Fantuz to a T, and I embraced it wholeheartedly when I became a Ticat. I love that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, don't put that on me, but I definitely
we'll share the blame there.
Yeah, I loved you guys. It was it was fun, definitely.
That's great, man. Okay, listen, this is the Task and Tuz show, and Ticat fans, we're in for a big moment here in the season. We're going to take a short hiatus with the bye week, but we'll continue to talk together throughout the season and watch the Ticats as they hopefully make some small changes and put some wins on the chart. So join us in the coming weeks for the Task and Tuz show. Tuz, you're the man, buddy. I'll see you next time.
Love you, brother.